Welcome to Golden Gardens. Today we're going to be harvesting some peanuts. So here I have about a 2 by, I'd say 8 row. I don't remember exactly how many peanuts I soaked, but I already harvested a row right here just to see if they were ready about 2 weeks ago. And I think it was about 10 plants, and I got around, I'd say 200 peanuts. So pretty good yield. About 20 to 25 per plant. Some had less, some had more, some had up to almost 50, although some were immature like this little peanut. All right, so let's get harvesting. Before I harvest these peanuts, I want to show you guys how they grow. Their growth habit is pretty interesting. In case you guys did not know, a peanut is actually not a nut, but a legume. So it fixes nitrogen. And what they do is they throw out these little yellow flowers. Since these had been off irrigation for a while, I'm not sure if they're still producing flowers, and more so focusing energy on ripening the underground peanuts. So it seems that they have stopped flowering, but what happens is when they flower, they throw out a flower from one of these little nodes around right there. A little yellow, almost pea-like flower comes out. And you may be thinking, why did my peanut flower dry? Is it not going to produce? Well, it's actually not like a pea in the way that when the flower dries, it immediately throws out a little pod, or similar to a bean. Instead, it throws out a little peg, this little, let me see if I can find one. This little thing right here, this comes out of the node, out of right there where the flower used to be, and then it starts to go downwards into the soil, and it gets longer if it's not in contact with the soil, and then that starts to transform into a little peanut like this. It then becomes this, and then ultimately it becomes a big peanut like this, which is mature. And this is completely underground, covered, because the peg goes in. That's why it's important to have loose soil so that they can penetrate the surface and form underground correctly, so that no critters dig them up easily. I might put this harvesting in fast play. You don't want to leave these in ground, because if you're going to plant something else, in my case, I want to plant some potatoes here. I don't want there being peanuts popping up. Actually, no, I wouldn't mind if they popped up in the spring, because it'd be too cold for them to pop up in the winter. You just want to shake off the dirt. Well, it seems that some of these pegs have stayed underground. It's pretty dry, so the stems are pretty soft and they snap easily. If you guys have never had raw peanuts, they're actually pretty tasty. And these are organic peanuts grown with organic methods, so that just makes it even healthier. No chemicals. What I like to do if they're a little dry when they're too green is you can let them dry for about 5 days to a week, and they'll be a little softer. And I like that texture, and it tastes kind of like a roasted peanut, maybe without the roasted tones that it has, but still pretty good. The peanuts were sown around, I'd say, I think it was early May, maybe late April. And it's almost October now, so it's been around 170 days. And majority of the peanuts are mature, at least for the most part. So they do take a while, around, I think it's like 6 months. 5 to 6 months. It's a grub. I did not amend this bed with anything. As I said, they fix nitrogen and they have relatively low requirements for it. But if you do decide to fertilize your bed when you plant out peanuts, then you can fertilize them a little. I'd say not to overdo it, especially if you're using chemical fertilizers. They can easily burn the plant. So if you're using organic, just use the smallest amount per plant. See all those worms helping out? It's a little dry for them. So we're gonna have to water this bed after we get these harvested. Alright, I'll cut to the final harvest. Here we have the final harvest. I'd say it's around close to 300 peanuts, around there, maybe more. Not completely sure. No, most likely more. There was a lot, which is very nice because now I can eat a lot of peanuts. Very delicious. I just ate one right now and it was very sweet. When they're green, straight from harvest, they're very sweet. They might be a little dry, but at the same time, they're kind of juicy. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but if you can, try them out. They're very, very delicious. These were some of the loose ones. I'd say each plant yielded around 30 to 35 maybe. Anywhere from 20 to 35. And this is the little flower that I was talking about that dries up. It's already dry though. If you guys can see that. Right in that node that it comes out, it becomes this peg that goes underground. Very interesting plant. Again, try it out if you can.